Hi, John. I'm Sarah from The Upcoming. A real pleasure to chat to you today. Thanks a lot
Nice
for
to meet
taking
you.
the time.
Yes,
Huge congrats on this show.
thank you.
I was reading that you sort of, conceived of the original concept as kind of a love letter to 90s summer blockbusters, which you've absolutely executed. And I guess it's kind of this combination of action spectacle, but still very much anchored by human relationships and, really character-driven drama. So can you tell us a bit about why you wanted to make the show?
Yeah, thank you. No, thank you. It's yeah, look, I'm a fan of perhaps it's my age, but I'm a huge fan of those movies that were sort of they were summer blockbusters, they were fun, they were escapist, right? Everyone would go to the theater and have a great time. And that's I think what we wanted to do in terms of locking in on that tone is giving people a way to escape, right? Like the world's crazy enough, news and all this insanity is around us. It feels like 24/7. And so I just wanted to do something that felt a little bit romantic and fun and again like a place for people to sort of just go check out for a while. That's what I would do with those movies and maybe sometimes still do. Some of them are guilty pleasures, you know. But I do think what's unique about this is that unlike a lot of those movies that were like a tight 90 minutes, we have like 10 hours to unpack some really fun, unexpected character stories that I hope will surprise people.
And did you have any particular movies that you had in mind, from
Oh my
that
God.
era? Which I guess
There's
we're all slightly nostalgic for
there's
too.
so many of them. I mean, it's like, the easy comps for this are probably like Con Air, The Fugitive, The Rock. I'm a huge Point Break fan. These are movies that just sort of, you go in on a summer night, you disappear for a while, and they grab you by the collar and take you on a ride. So that was the inspo.
And I know you were originally thinking of setting it in New York, so it's quite a change to take it
Yeah.
to this sort of quite remote, lonely place, this sort of small town community, which was obviously then in contrast to this kind of more sort of like big CIA conspiracy. So what was key about that change, and how is the setting and location key to the storytelling?
Well, I think what you mentioned is actually kind of the reason for the shift. Yes, originally the idea was sort of the elevator pitch, I guess, was what would happen if a prison transport plane crashed on Manhattan, right? And you shut down the bridges and the tunnels and said, the mayor says you have until the end of Labor Day, 3 days to go find these inmates. That it's fun, but what it fails to do is to sort of create a juxtaposition between a small community, right? And people who are perhaps not used to such chaos and sort of look at themselves, right? So I think and plus I guess I'm from a small town in Nebraska. I understand probably a rural point of view better than I do understand a point of view of living in the city. And so I guess in a way of trying to be authentic, Frank is a guy from a rather quiet town that I probably understand in a way that's a little more real.
And coming to Frank, was Jason someone you always had in mind? I mean, he just plays it so brilliantly, kind of both the sort of emotional parts and the action parts. And then, of course, finding his, great scene partners in
Yeah.
Haley, Dominic, in Simone. So, how did you go about your casting?
Yeah, isn't he great? Jason's fantastic. I love our whole cast. They all come at it from such different points of view. And I suppose it's written that way, but they really embody these characters that don't quite line up, right? They're all in sort of a stark opposition to each other, and yeah, I think with all of them, trying to find a way in which the cast can make what's written authentic and real, because it's often very heightened, right? It's often a little silly potentially. These inmates that we're out chasing are sort of, they're turned up to 11 or maybe 12, and so it's their job to then take that and make it as relatable and real as possible, which I think creates a sort of unique soup. It's an interesting place that is just slightly heightened, but it doesn't work if you don't have actors and cast that can really ground it, I think.
100%. Well, I'm out of time, sadly, but thanks so much for
Okay.
sharing all that with me. Huge congrats on the show.
Thank
Can't
you.
wait for everyone else to see it. Thank
Thank
you.
you so much.